So yeah, I've always wanted to make videos, so I just figured why not now. I don't have a lot of stories to tell, but this is like a relevant one that I felt like I could tell, and it might like help people, or it'll just kind of be fun to tell. So yeah, I basically got scammed. I was looking for a couple of new toys, and I set my eyes on DBX 160s, which are kind of out of my price range. And so I ended up finding these DBX 161s. It was a pair, it was on Reverb. It was an okay price point, but what made it really, really nice was like it even came with like a flight case. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like, I have a couple extra boxes now, and I've been like storing up and building up my gear collection, and I'm actually running out of like rack space. And I know that sounds stupid, but like when I'm kind of throwing all my money at the processors, it just a couple hundred just kind of fucking sucks to have to throw to use up just to get these things mounted. So I might just get a couple tables or something. But I said, you know what, I'm gonna throw an offer at him, and I was actually talking to him, and it seemed really, really normal, you know, like we were kind of just talking. I was like, hey man, like I know there's not like an offer button on this, but I was like, would you take a few hundred less? And he was like, yeah, I can totally do that. And I was like, cool, like I'm gonna hit buy right now, and I totally did, like without even thinking, I just like hit buy, and instead of like putting it on like a monthly payment kind of thing, like just so I don't have to throw like so much, like a huge amount of cash at one time. I just ended up accidentally hitting like pay in full. And so I even messaged them and I was like, hey man, like I accidentally hit the wrong payment method. Like, would you mind retracting this? And he was actually like kind of helpful, which is kind of weird because we're talking about being scammed here. And so this was kind of confusing too because, like, mind you, at this point, like, I had no idea or any idea. Like, there was no sign of anything being wrong. And so I talked to him about this. And he's like, yeah, man, like, let me see what I can do, whatever. And I don't know. I think he was kind of like, it kind of came off as like he was worried that like I wouldn't end up buying it, or he was kind of confused, like almost like, am I scamming him? And so after like a while, like he was like trying to like figure out like what to do or whatever. I guess he couldn't find like a refund button or I don't know what, right? Like he could have just been lying. I eventually was just like, dude, like, don't worry about it. It's fine. Just like send it off. And so, like, the next day or two, probably the next day, he ended up sending it off. And he gave me the tracking number and everything. And everything was good. Like, the money left, like, my PayPal or whatever. And everything was great. Like, if anything, I was just like excited. I was like, man, like, these are going to live on like my kick and snare. It's going to be like punchy. Like, and I was like talking to everybody about it, right? Like, dude, I'm about to have DBXs. I like updated my website and like actually like I think I have to like re-update my website because I don't own any DBXs, especially not any 160s or 161s. Yeah, so the day finally comes, like I'm waiting, right? And it's only been like 3 or 4 days, which is kind of quick. And I'm waiting for these things to come. And finally at like 11, like I wasn't home, but it was like 11 in the morning. And it was like, hey, your shit came in. It's been delivered, front door, like check it out. And I was like, cool, it's got my address and everything. And it wasn't there. It wasn't there. We didn't even like see a truck or like anything. And my wife was home all day. And what ended up happening, I ended up going home and trying to figure out what was going on. And so I eventually, like within maybe like 40 minutes of like panicking because I've never been in this situation, I think I messaged the seller first and I was like, hey man, I don't know what's going on, but I never got it. And he basically kind of like seemed kind of weird. But again, like it seems weird, right? Like if you tell somebody I didn't get your package, how can you tell if they're lying or not? So like all the responses he gave me weren't too weird. And in fact, it was just like I almost felt bad because I was just like, this guy's gonna think I'm the one lying. And like I don't even know what to do. So I was like, hey man, like, can you please like figure this out? And so I don't think I got a message back from him, but I ended up messaging or like filing like a lost claim or something, the UPS. So I got the weirdest email ever. And as I'm talking, I'll definitely like put things up and try to like show you the conversations between like the companies and the seller and everything that happened just so like you could experience it, I guess. I got the weirdest thing, and it was like a glitch or something, and basically it showed me everything about my package, and it was basically like, hey, this is what happened. We sent your package to this address. And it wasn't even like a statement of like, hey, we messed up. It was just like almost like a receipt. So I had my name on it, but then they had another person's name on it, and this person lives like, I don't know, like 20 miles away from where I am. And he's not even connected by anybody. Like Facebook mutual friends, like we don't know anybody. Like I've never heard of this guy, and he's like a lot older than I am. And I don't think he would even know what to do with like a pair of TBX 161s. Like I think he would just, I don't know. I don't even know. Like, what do people think compressors are, right? And I actually ended up going to his place. Like, this sounds so weird, but like, I ended up picking up my kid from school, and I went to his place, and like, all over his place, it was like, do not enter, trespassers, like, you're gonna get shot, blah, blah, blah. And honestly, like, I had this adrenaline running, and I was like, I need to find my DBXs. Like, I just want them today. I wasn't even like worried. I was more like depressed because I was just like, I wanted a mix, man. Like I'm like behind like 5 projects. And it's like if I just had these, like, not that like they would help me finish them or something, but it would just be really dope. I ended up going to his place, and he wasn't there or anything. So we ended up talking like through Facebook. I ended up like finding him or whatever, like through like a person. And so we were like talking, and he was like, dude, like, no, like he has like a little iRing doorbell or something. He was like, dude, I didn't even get anything all day. Like, I'll check when I'm home, like in case anything arrived, but like I would have got like a notification, you know, like somebody showed up or something. So I was like, okay, that's really weird. So I didn't know what to do. And the seller stopped responding. Like he didn't say a lot, but out of nowhere, he just like wasn't talking to me. And I was just like, okay, like maybe this guy thinks I'm like trying to scam him. I'm like Googling things or Reddit, like blah, blah, blah. Like what happens when your shit go through like UPS and it doesn't arrive? And I'll be real with you, like there's like a lot of people who are like upset, but then there was like these comments that were just like, it's not a big deal, like just do what you need to do, and it takes a little bit of time or whatever. So I don't know, nothing happened. But the thing is, like, it had been 4 or 5 days, and there was like no lost claim thing. And I mean, I was like desperate, right? Like I would literally drive around and I would find like a UPS truck like on my way home or something, and I would stop and I would just be like, hey man, this is really weird, but like I lost a package. Like, is there like a warehouse I can check if it's just like in a lost and found, or like who do I need to talk to? Like I even went to like an old listed UPS warehouse. It was on Google and there was nothing there. It was like a dead end. It was like the weirdest thing. It was like the middle of the night, and I just like, I don't know. This is like the weirdest experience. And so I also talked to like Reverb, and Reverb was like really, really helpful. And honestly, I think that they helped the most. And so this is like the other thing I want to talk about, because I feel like I made some mistakes, right? Like I don't think that there was like a lot that I could actually do. I think that there were some mistakes. And so like the first mistake was just like, you have to look at like the seller, right? Like the seller didn't have any like stars. He had no history of selling things, blah, blah, blah. And so like, I don't know, I guess I'm just like naive or like trusting. And I was once there too. Like the first time I put up my SSL Nucleus for like $2,500, like I didn't have any stars, but somebody back from where I'm from, like Richmond, Virginia, like ended up buying it or whatever. And so it's like, you do have to take in a lot of factors, but that was like a big one. Like, I think that if you're buying something from somebody who has no stars, no history, at least have a conversation. Like, did you like the DBXs? You know, like how was like the gain staging, and like when does it break up, and man, like is it as good as the plugin, man? Like blah blah blah. Like, do you have any songs you did? Because that at least like informs you, right? Like, I don't think the guy who like sold me these like was even into music. So I think if I had asked him like these questions, I don't think he would have been able to provide a response. I feel like he would have been like, I don't know what the fuck that is. But the solution to all of this actually came from me just being super desperate. Like it had been like 5 days, and I was just like, am I really out this much money? So I tried everything. And I mean, it's so weird that I tried everything, but I even like right clicked a picture on Reverb, and I actually like searched Google for the picture or something. So an old like eBay listing from like 2003 came up, and that had like 40 pictures of the actual unit on top of this like dresser. And it actually showed like all the angles and everything, and it seemed super real. And so when I was comparing it to like the Reverb, it was like the exact same pictures, except like the Reverb listing was like really lazy. Like he only stole like 5 of the pictures, and it wasn't like too informative, but it did have like a little copy pasted thing about, you know, like the history and the circuitry or whatever compared to like the 160s. So that was like the other thing. Like advice number two is just like look things up, you know? Like it's 2021, it's about to be 2022. Like you can literally right click on anything. I don't know why people are getting catfish. Like just search the freaking picture on Google and like if you think you're talking to somebody, their shit is gonna pop up. Yeah, like advice number two, like it's like future, just like look things up and you can even just like search Google for pictures and you should be able to find something, right? Like this is the exact same photo. Like, can you please just take like a photo with this like on your head or something to like prove it's real? The other thing is never, I mean, at least be prepared to like if you're sure that like everything seems pretty normal, then fine, like buy something, right? Like full cash, like, but the last thing is just like, my mistake was just like PayPal did serve as an issue. Like, if you don't use credit with PayPal, there's not really a way to get your money back like quickly. Like, if I use a credit card straight up with PayPal instead of it just like linked to like my own account, like, I could have just like brought that money back immediately, just been like, whoa, like this is like sketchy, boom, like I just need my money back now. And so like that's like a whole other thing, right? Like if you're lying, they'll end up finding out. But if you're not lying, then like what's the problem? Like it'll be fine. Get your money back, let them go through the process. It'll take like 5, 7, 14 days, who the fuck knows. And but at least you'll have your money back so you don't have to worry about it. And that was like the thing that I messed up on. Like I accidentally hit just like pay the fucking dude in full. And so this guy just fucking dipped. But yeah, like the thing I wanted to say though was like Reverb was like really, really helpful. Like they were just like totally understanding. Sometimes it felt like people would ask like silly questions like, are you sure you didn't like check your door and stuff? And I understand why they're doing that because I feel like a lot of people are just like, I don't know, hey, I didn't get my package. Like, oh, it's under my fucking rug or behind this bush or something. But like Reverb was okay. Like I feel like Reverb helped and they must have gotten things going because after I started complaining to Reverb and UPS and PayPal, there was like a day like it just came back and I was like, oh my gosh, like thank God, it's like a miracle. Like I expected it. I think it took like a total of like 12 or 13 days. I thought it was gonna take like 27 days. And I felt like I wasn't really like ever in doubt that I would get my money, but I was just more worried that like I would be going like 3 months through winter like without this money. Like I don't know, what if I needed to like fix my car or something? Like my experience with UPS is horrible. Like I don't know, but like the thing that like helped me through that, I guess is like the third or fourth thing. I don't even know like what number this is, but just like another piece of advice, like whenever you have a problem with a company, just go on Facebook. I realized like phone things, calling them on the phone or like whatever, like trying to find a representative and being like this weird phone tag of them just being like, oh, like let me send this up to like the higher level complaint, and then like you're on hold for like 20 minutes. Like I was on the phone with UPS for like a total of like 12 hours. Like every single afternoon, it was like 4 hours, 4 hours, 4 hours, 4 hours. And nothing ever happened. And so like I was talking to somebody and they were like, yeah, like my wife lost something or whatever through like the mail, I don't know what. And so she actually ended up going and complaining to FedEx, whoever it was, like on Facebook. And I mean, immediately they do that thing, right? Like, hey, sorry to hear about your like negative experience, like just DM us and we're gonna like get it taken care of. And that was like the quickest way where they were just like straight up like, hey man, like you just need to go here, click this link, your email, boom. The whole issue was just like PayPal and UPS and Reverb. It's just impossible to get them all to talk. Like I almost wanted to ambush them, like call Reverb and PayPal and UPS on 3 different phones and just connect them and just like force them to like connect the dots. But like basically the PayPal was like going through this weird thing of like, well, we have to make sure, so we're going to give like the seller 7 days to respond and give us a tracking number. And that was the other thing. The way that he set up the scam was somehow he had access to a tracking number from Amazon. It wasn't a fake tracking number, it was real. And so like somehow through that glitch, like that email that I showed you guys earlier, like talked about earlier, somehow I got that email, right? Like they're not supposed to give away like the information, but I had this guy's name and address and like all like the info of the package, but it didn't tell me what it was. But it tells you how much it weighs. Like a DVX compressor does not weigh like 12 pounds, like let alone a pair or whatever. I don't know, like there's like all these things that are like really weird. And so like now that I'm like looking at it and just like seeing what happened, I understand now like what happens is they get a hold of like a tracking number in your same like zip code area, and so like it kind of feels like it's coming and it feels like the tracking makes sense, and then it even arrives, and then it ends up feeling like it's like a mistake by like the driver. But what actually happens is like somebody ordered dog food 20 miles away from me. And this scammer was just like, yeah, this is your box that's coming. Like, have fun with your music shit. I don't know. I don't know if this is like specific, if it happens all the time. I don't know. If you look it up, it looks like since COVID and stuff, this is like an amazing scam. And I don't know. I guess if I was like a worse person or something, I would like do it. But like, I don't know. I'm not gonna like do something stupid like that. But there is like no way to catch him. And I think that like the problem, if enough people aren't reporting to the FBI, and that's like the other thing, like please like tell people and call the cops and set up like a police report. Honestly, that wasn't like the first thing I did, but like, and after like talking to people about this, it was like, yeah, just set it up because like they'll like, I don't know, hopefully it helps. But yeah, it's like there is somebody out there with like probably proxies and stuff, and he's just like doing this. And I think the way of like catching them is probably through like whatever bank like it ends up being deposited and withdrawn. But like he's obviously out the money now, so I don't know what happens. Or like does it just come out of like PayPal's loss? I don't even know. So I don't know. If you think this is stupid, or if you have like more advice, or if you see something obvious that I could have done, I don't know. Like message me, tell me something. But yeah, this is just like my crazy experience. This microphone fucking Pro Tools just wanted to take a nap. So there is not going to be amazing audio on this. Yay. Or maybe I'll redo it. I don't know. But yeah, that's about it. Don't get scammed. Keep buying gear. Reverb is awesome. PayPal, I probably wouldn't use again. Unless I use it with a credit card, so I can like take everything back. But yeah, I'm not gonna use PayPal again. Like from here on out, it's just, I don't know. I feel like we should all just avoid PayPal. Sorry, PayPal.